Hey everyone, Justin Stark with Bobby Brock Insurance and the Justin Brock team. And this is what I want to talk to you about. So we're going to be going over some newbie sales training tips. I'm going to go with like one or two here, depending on how much time we're at. But for some people, this is going to seem extremely basic. For some people, this is going to seem cheesy. And then for the people that it's meant to fall on, the ears that it's meant to fall on are the people that I'm talking to. All right. So I want to talk about something around the idea of a new person to Medicare sales or any kind of sales for that matter, and they feel insecure, maybe they're doubting themselves and they're not really producing, or maybe you're brand new at it and you're like feeling completely overwhelmed and you're just at a loss and you know you need to do something different than what you were doing, and now you're just feeling like I'm stuck because you're trying to get over that hurdle of a learning curve. So if I look at a sales team without any form of context, or let's say I'm looking at 4 or 5 different salespeople, like us, we're onboarding a few different salespeople now, and I'm grading them. And when I'm thinking about how I'm grading them without really knowing who they are in a ton of different details, I'm going to grade them on one metric. And that metric is going to be belief or conviction in the product. So belief or conviction in the product. So the salesman with the highest conviction or the highest belief in that product is going to be the better salesman. Now, the good thing about belief or conviction is that it can be improved upon. So you can improve your conviction by studying the product, which is one of the things that I actually did with myself. And there's a lot of different things you can do, but as far as sales tips, I want you to think about this. Conviction breeds tonality, meaning that the way that you feel is oftentimes dictated by what you believe. And what you believe is supposed to drive how you feel about things. So that builds your framework on how you view the world and how you filter everything that happens to you. So if I believe that it is wrong to steal $20 off of a table, and I called it stealing, so obviously I believe that it would be wrong because I gave it a negative connotation. But think about it. If I take some keys off a table or some money off a table that doesn't belong to me, and 2 different things could happen. Well, a few different things, but on one occasion, I'm the person who says, I believe that it's stealing, it doesn't belong to me. And there's another person who takes it and tries to turn it in. And so the way that I act is dictated by what I believe. And the way that you come across to the person that you're selling to is dictated by the way that you believe. So if you smell like you're hunting for money, then you're chasing commission. But if you're chasing conviction, meaning that believing in yourself, believing in the product, then when you do that, they receive your conviction, and because they can sense that, and because it's a belief, they'll receive it. Because you don't want to go to someone and sell them your product. You want to go to them with a statement of conviction stating that I believe that the older we get, the safer our money should get. You believe that, right? So that's an example of a statement of belief. I'm stating that I believe that the older we get, the safer our money should get. That transfers to your client much easier. And it actually transfers to yourself once you believe it. And another thing is when you're getting into sales, the first sale that you have to do, which is the hardest, it's so difficult to do, is you have to sell yourself. If you do not sell yourself on whatever it is that you're trying to do and sell and accomplish, then you're never going to make it. And you're wasting whoever you're partnering with's time and your own, and the person that you're trying to sell to. So a few things I want to address, or 2 big ones here when we're thinking about getting started in a sales career, specifically in the Medicare health insurance industry, is we got to deal with our self-doubt and we got to deal with our insecurities. Even though we don't really talk about that a lot in sales, it really should be addressed for these reasons. So number 1, self-doubt just simply comes from a lack of evidence. So you say, I'm not sure I could do that. Or maybe you're leaving $60,000 in income on the table that you've been using to provide for your family, and you're starting over at $15 an hour. And that's what it equates to if you make a couple of sales maybe. And then you got to build that back up, right? Well, that's up to your convictions. If you don't believe in yourself, if you don't believe in the product or the problem that you're solving, then yeah, you're gonna have a lot of self-doubt. So you just don't have enough evidence to prove to yourself and to others that it's the right thing or the right move or the right decision or whatever, what have you. And remember that you're not selling people, first off. Another idea is that you're selling a product. Stop selling the product if that's what you're doing. You really need to be teaching them so that you can drive them to a decision. Sales is truly driving someone to a decision. Whether the decision is a yes or a no, you're still driving them to a decision from an educational approach. And our approach here in our sales format, or the way that we like to process things, and even our marketing, it's the same thing. It's education and entertainment, education and entertainment. We want you to have fun with us, but we also want to make sure we get from A to B, right? So remember, self-doubt comes from a lack of evidence, and because it's evidence-based, that means you can outwork your self-doubt. You can make sure that you're punctual. That is evidence that you're doing the right thing. You can be on time. You can start with being punctual. In fact, that's the one thing that I started with. I just showed up. Besides self-doubt, insecurity, which is a little bit different. Insecurities come from other people. Did you know that? That's someone else's belief being bestowed upon you, and in you accepting it as some kind of conviction. And it frames your worldview. So let me give you an example. Let's say that this new agent is coming on board to work for us. And because as he was growing up on his mama's hip, every time she would introduce him to someone, the first couple of times he didn't know what was going on, or she didn't know what was going on, the baby. And eventually you got introduced as someone who was shy. It's okay that, hey, he's just shy. And eventually you said you just became shy. Or it could have been any kind of insecurity. It could have been someone said that you're never going to make that, man. You had $60,000, you just got a promotion, and now you're starting some brand new career that you know nothing about from some guy that you hadn't talked to in a long time. That insecurity is coming from someone else. And you can outwork that by creating evidence and by dropping their belief. That's their belief about you. You either believe in yourself or you don't, because no one else is going to believe in you for you. So you got to make the decision, just like you're trying to get other people, which is sales, to make a decision. You have to make a decision by selling yourself on yourself and on the product or the problem that you're solving, which is what a product does. So with that being said, your sales tip for the day comes from convictions as the foundation. Your beliefs, the Bible says it really. What comes out the mouth is in the heart. It's in the book of James. You can look it up, or the letter of James for you scholars out there. So what is in the heart, your convictions, if you will, well, that's what the Bible's reference is, what your beliefs are. What you believe is what dictates your actions. And if you do not believe in yourself because you've never done something, then that's okay to have self-doubt. Just outwork it. Just start. All you got to do is just start. That's like 70% of the work. And then your insecurities, which are beliefs, not just doubting something. Doubting is skepticism towards something that hasn't necessarily happened or something that I don't have evidence for. That's a little bit different. You can outwork that. You can create evidence. But insecurities come from other people. It's a belief that you have accepted about yourself or about something in general. If someone is insecure about purchasing a policy from me while I'm trying to enroll them in a plan that I know that is best for them, one of two things are happening here. They have some kind of insecurity they're insecure about making the decision. Maybe they don't, even that rebuttal that people give you, I need to think it over. Sometimes I need to think it over. It's one of two things. They either need permission or they need affirmation. And if it's just affirmation or support, then you can give them more affirmation and support by giving them more reasoning and evidence for their good decision. And you can do the same thing for yourself. So just remember, guys and gals, that if you can get over self-doubt by outworking it and then improve upon the insecurities that you have by adopting your own belief system, which is also undergirded by the evidence that you create, sales is no problem. In fact, it's the oxygen of any business. So get used to breathing it. It's Justin Stark at Justin Brock Team, Medicare Con, Bobby Brock Insurance. Check us out. And make sure, if you're not, be a part of the Agent Bootcamp.